Torah Guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Yasharal and Yehuda. Grafted in Gentiles into the body of Hamashiach, listen. We the people of the book broadcast on this Shabbat is going down, right? And listen, I'm crying, I'm free. Right, I'm free, y'all. Listen, Yasharal and Yehuda, we free. We free to worship Yahuwah Zava'o. Not to have to be conformed to the worshiping of idols. Listen, we free. The world will try to make you feel like you are wrong, but we free. We're not subject to the bondages of this world. They don't have dominion over us. Listen, and you will be put to the test. Yeah, you'll be tested. Yahuwah, I give you praise for your Shabbat and for the people that you have called, the people that you have chosen by your Ruach HaKodesh. I give you praise. I thank you for your Besorah, your Torah of truth. Yahuwah, thy word is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our pathway. The entrance of thy Besorah, thy Torah, gives light. It gives understanding to the simple. Listen, how can a young man cleanse his ways except he take heed to your Besorah, your Torah of truth? And Yahuwah, the words that you have given Yahusha Hamashiach, he has given me, and I have kept them, and I have declared them, having received the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh, the baptism, and the blood. Yahuwah, I have received your witness as Abba, the Ruach HaKodesh witness, and the witness of Yahusha, the word. I agree. Yahuwah, I pray right now that by the Ruach HaKodesh, you will take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign, that you would speak to me in the name of Yahusha Mashiach. Yahuwah, this word, this Besorah, this Torah of truth is righteous. Yahuwah, and it's for those who have an ear to hear. Yahuwah, wake up, Yaakov. Wake up, Yaakov. Wake up, Yasharal. Wake up, Yahuda. Yahuwah, we are free. Listen, Yahuwah, I give you praise. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. May I cause no one to be turned out of the way. Come up lame or stumble, Yahuwah. In the name of Yahusha Hamashiach, I say it so, calling those things that be not as though they were. Listen, Lorvins, the album is titled Who I Am. And the song is entitled Who I Am. Listen, the Besorah of truth is a liberator. It will make you free, but the Torah in of itself must be mixed with Emunah, and it must be established in Yahusha Mashiach's witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the baptism, and the blood. That's how you gonna know you free. Listen, that's how you gonna know who you are. Listen. Teamwork. It's just he, Lorvins. I don't own the rights to that music. Who I am. Listen, we as the nation of Yasharal have to understand the importance of being free. Right? Free. Free. What does it mean to be free? When Yahusha sets you free, listen. He woke us up as a nation of people. My people. It's called by his name. Yasharal and Yehuda. Humble themselves and pray. Seek his face. Turn from their wicked ways, and he would hear from the Amein. He would forgive their sins and heal their land. A people, at a time, have now become awoken to the reality of Yahuwah. Reality of being a people with laws and statutes and commandments, right? And in this world system, we're challenged, right? Because they smodged this Christianity idea with Christmas and New Year's and Easter and Thanksgiving, and all of these hypocrisies have melted into our text, right? And they have caused this idea that there is some righteousness in serving green trees in Yahusha. But it ain't Yahusha, it's Jesus. Listen, I'm not getting off on no idolatrous kind of message. Because listen, I'm free, right? And Yasharal and Yehuda, you have to be free. You have to understand freedom is more than just Torah. You have to understand freedom is more than just this Christianity, the idea of Christianity, right? You have to understand it's more than that. But the text is original. The text is true, right? The text is true, right? The text declares that Yahusha, not Jesus, Yahusha HaMashiach, the son of Yahuwah, will make you free. See, that's why we celebrate Shabbat. Because we free in Yahusha. We rest in Yahusha HaMashiach. We rejoice in Yahusha HaMashiach. We move forth in the Ruach HaKodesh, now sons and daughters of Elohiym in Yahusha HaMashiach. Listen, hallelujah. Listen, that's worthy of praise. Worthy of praise. There is no weapon turned against you prosperous. And listen, the attack has been heavy on the mishpokah. The attack has been heavy. But listen, having done all to stand therefore. Listen. Having done all, having done all, stand in Yahusha HaMashiach, stand in the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood, stand, right? Stand, walk in that which Yahusha has made available to you. Listen, I had to be reminded. I had to be reminded. Listen, I had to be reminded. Right? Anakoti had to remind me, you wrestle not against flesh and blood. I know this, right? Listen, you are under attack. I know this, right? Right? She said, you're going to stand your ground. You got to stand your ground. You got to fight. You got to wage. You got to go in. I sat there for a moment. And you was, what you waiting on? She right. I told you that this too will pass, but you got to go in. You look, you got to take what's yours by force. Got to go in. You got to persevere. You got to be willing to stand. You got to be willing to endure in the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, I have the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Hallelujah. Listen. We have to strengthen one another. You have to strengthen one another. You got to do it. And you got to do it in the Basora. She gave me word. She didn't give me what she thought. She gave me the Basora. She gave me the Torah. Listen, she gave me the Basora. I got angry. I went in. Oh, yeah, I did. I went in. Yeah, I put demons running. I went in. I did. Listen, I was able to do it because I'm free. See, now if you ain't free, you in trouble. If you ain't free, you in trouble. You better get to somebody that can help you, that can lay hands on you, right? You better have an elder. You better have a more. You have a mora, an ema. You better have somebody that can pray for you, right? If you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh, oh yeah. If you got the Ruach HaKodesh, you better have somebody that can pray for you. You better have somebody that can move for you and stand in the gap for you. And then you need to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. They should be praying that you receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Because once you get the Ruach HaKodesh, man, you're going to have some troubles. But, one will put 1,000 in flight, two will put 10,000 in flight. See, and that's why I'm going to tell you, it's important, right, to not be unequally yoked. Listen. It's important. You have to understand. I'm not telling anybody to make any moves, right? I'm not saying that. But you better have a go-to, right? You better have somebody that can touch the throne with you. Oh, who understands what we are in and what we're about. I'm not talking about drawing on some Christians to pray for you. I'm talking about some emas and some elders and some okotis that understand the Ruach HaKodesh and what we are in this life, in this walk. And they could command and pray and agree. And one could put 1,000 a flight and two could put 10,000 a flight. Right? That's if you free. See? It's free. She says, Zelda, I'm going to pray for you. I'm praying for you. Praying for you. Praying for you. Give me the word. Told me what I needed to do. And I'm praying. Listen. Yahuwah turned it around. Right? Because I received the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh from someone who had the Ruach HaKodesh. I didn't go to anybody. I didn't just go exploring prayers. Oh, pray for me. Pray for me. Oh, pray for me. Pray for me. Oh, pray for me. Pray for me. No. I don't need no Christians praying for me. I'm sorry. Y'all may not like that. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. If you don't serve Yahuwah and Yahusha, then it makes no difference what you say. He don't hear you. Yeah, that's going to make a lot of people mad, especially during this season. I don't care. I love you, but I'm not coming to you. I'm not asking you to pray for me. Listen, you better know somebody. And the interesting thing is that, the people that he puts in your circle, right, that you're connected to ruachally, right, the connection is real because the Ruach HaKodesh is real, right, right, and they already know what's going on. They already know. They already know what you're going through. They already know what you're experiencing because the Ruach has let them know. And then Yahuwah has told them to give him this word. And because I have the Ruach HaKodesh, I can receive a word. I'm free. You need to be free. You need to be free from the idols, from the idolatry. You need to be free. If you're still grieved over the idolatry of the seasons, you need to be free. You need to be free. You still hanging on to and concerned about what mom and them think? You want to listen to what they say? Listen. You need to be free. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You still want to dabble? You get carnal. Carnal. Yeah, I said it. You carnal. You don't have the Ruach HaKodesh. Carnality is the absence of spiritual righteousness. Carnal is earthly, fleshly appetites that are ungoverned by a Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah. Listen. Yahuwah let me into John. Right now, you know I done been through John. You know I love YOCHANON. I love YOCHANON. Listen. And the whole idea of being made free. Right? See, you know you free when these things don't move you. Right? You know you free when these things don't bother you. Right? They are nothing to you. You're free. You know you're free. Right? When you don't have to make an excuse. Right? When somebody says, yeah, no. You know you're free. You know you're free when you have the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh, the baptism, and the blood. You know you're free. Right? Not just the baptism, not just the blood, but the Ruach HaKodesh, because they all agree. They all one. And you have to receive the Father's witness. He's Abba. Then you have to receive the Besorah's witness, because the word is eternal. Yahusha. It's eternal word. And then you got to receive the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh, because that's Yahuwah's power. It's the truth that makes you free. See, and when you walking in the truth of Yahuwah, you're free. No chains holding you. This world doesn't have dominion over me. They don't lord anything over me. I'm free. Right? I walk in a righteousness as an El. I have the seed of Yahuwah and Yahusha in me. He has called me to establish his kingdom. And the kingdom establishing is the people. Establishing a people. His people. Yasharal and Yehuda first, and to his people, who he has chosen amongst the other nations. See, because he is not called a nation like us, right? He called us as a nation of people, right? But he has those that he's chosen from amongst the other nations. He has a people. Yeah. Listen. Are you free? Are you free? I'm free. Hallelujah. I've received a witness. Yeah. I have kept the words that Yahuwah gave Yahusha, that Yahusha given to me. I've kept them. Oh, yeah. I've kept them. Listen. I don't sin. I don't sin. I keep the Besorah of truth. I keep the Torah. Somebody said, man, you sinning right now because you lying. I don't sin. Because those that are in Hamashiach don't sin. That's the Besor. Because we have his witness. The Ruach HaKodesh. The water and the blood. We have the witness. We don't sin. Paul said we don't practice sin. We don't commit sin. Sin is of Hasatan. Right? There's no white lies. We don't sin. We don't practice sin. Sin is not what we do. What does it mean to be free? Why did Yahusha come to make us free? Because only those that are free are entering into the kingdom. Only those that are free are entering into the kingdom. Only those that are free. Yahusha said in YOCHANON, the 8th chapter, the 31st verse, Yahusha said unto those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my Besora, right, then are ye my disciples. If you continue in the words that you have heard, continue to the water, continue to the blood, and continue to the Ruach HaKodesh, he says, then are ye my disciples indeed. Then make no mistake about it. You're my disciples, right? You're my disciples indeed. If you can do this, right? If you can do this, then are you my disciples indeed, right? See, because you believe me, and that's good. If you follow through, right? You walk out this truth. If you remain, continue, and dwell in, having followed, continued, and walked to baptism, to the blood, to the Ruach HaKodesh, then you are my disciples, right? Because now I'm living in you. Now the Ruach HaKodesh has made its abode in you. Me and the Father are one with you. But you got to continue, right? You got to continue in the truth. You got to continue in the truth. Listen, the only way to remain in this truth free after having received the Ruach HaKodesh of truth is to continue in the Besora of truth, the Torah of truth. The only way to continue. Listen. Ye are my disciples indeed. Ye are my disciples indeed. Right? Then he says, and ye shall know the truth. How will you know the truth? Why would you even have how would you even have the capacity to know, to be intimately acquainted with the truth. Receiving the Ruach HaKodesh. And the truth, the Ruach of truth, the Basora of truth, mixed with the Ruach HaKodesh of truth, right, shall make you free. I'm free. That's why you gotta have the Ruach HaKodesh. That's why you have to receive the witness. The witness in its entirety. You have to receive the witness in its entirety, right? He said, and you shall know the truth. You'll be intimately acquainted with it. You will. Now listen. Think about this. How do we continue in this walk, right? In this truth, as free men and women? By taking heed to the word, the Basor, the Torah, and the Ruach HaKodesh of truth. You have to have the Ruach HaKodesh of truth. You have to have the Ruach HaKodesh of truth in order to be free. You have to receive the witness. Let's go. Is it in First YOCHANON? I think it's where am I? I'm looking for something specifically, so I don't want you to, question in regards to without understanding. Here we go. You first YOCHANON 5 and 7, right? All right. Matter of fact, let's go to verse, the 5th chapter of First YOCHANON, the 4th verse. Whatsoever is born of Elohiym overcometh the world. It's free. Whatsoever is born of Elohiym overcomes the world. It's free. You're free when you're born of Elohiym. Right? Right? You're free when you're born of Elohiym. Now understand, right? Yahusha said to the Jews which believed on him, if you continue in my word, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Then are you my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free, right? YOCHANON says it here. He says it here, and he says, whosoever is born of Elohiym overcometh the world. Right? And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our emunah. We overcometh the world by our emunah. Right? This is the victory. Overcometh the world, even our emunah. Who is he that overcometh the world but he that believeth that Yahushua HaMashiach is the son of Elohiym? You must believe. Continue. He told the Jews that they had to continue. He told our ancestors that we had to continue to believe on him. They had to continue. Kadar, cut it out. He had to continue. Right? He says, who is he that overcome the world, but he that believeth that Yahusha Mashiach is the son of Elohiym? You have to recognize Yahusha, the son of Elohiym, right? He says, this is he that came by water, baptism, right? And blood. Without the shedding of his blood, there's no remission of sin. His blood was sprinkled on the altar in the Amein. Told Mary, don't touch me. After he was resurrected, he said, I got to send to my Father. I got to go before him as a pure sacrifice. And if you touch me, I would be unclean. I'd be impure. Oh yeah, would wreck everything. Y'all don't hear me. I got to go to the Amein. I gotta go to my Father, and I gotta give him this blood. I felt the need to tell you so that you could tell my disciples that I'm alive. He went to the Father. This is he which came by water, and by blood, right? Even Yahusha HaMashiach. Yahusha HaMashiach. I'm talking to you. Listen, do you want to be free? Free from idols. Free from idol worshipers. Free from chains. Do you want to be free? This is he that came by water and blood, even Yahusha HaMashiach. Not by water only, but by blood. And it is the Ruach HaKodesh that bears witness. YOCHANON said it. He said, Yahuwah told me, after this man is baptized, when he come up out, I'm going to see the Ruach HaKodesh descending upon him as a dove. That's YOCHANON, the first chapter. Towards the last chapter, last part of the chapter. I can't remember verses like that. I can when Yahusha give it to me. Yahuwah. He says, the Ruach HaKodesh bore witness of him. Right? Because the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh is truth. The Ruach HaKodesh is truth. They shall know the truth. The Ruach HaKodesh is truth. Listen, you ain't free until you get the Ruach HaKodesh. I'm sorry. But I ain't even sorry. It's just the way it is. You know, there's nothing to be sorry about. It's the plan of Yahuwah. You ain't free until you have the Ruach HaKodesh. And then even in the Ruach HaKodesh, you got to walk in a way where you are purifying yourself by the Basora and the Ruach together. In you, sanctifying you. And you know, every now and then you're going to have people that's going to come to you and say, look it, elder, Yahuwah told me to give you this. Yahuwah spoke this to me. I'm speaking this to you. Yeah. Right? Right? You got to be... You have to have the Ruach HaKodesh or you may miss it. You have to have the Ruach HaKodesh or you may miss it because there is no identification of oneness. Yahuwah has to be able to speak to the Ruach in her or the Ruach in him and to you. Because this Ruach is true. Listen, this is what I'm getting at. Now listen. For there are three that bear record in the Amein. Three, right? The Father, Abba. The Word, Yahusha HaMashiach. The Basora, the Torah. And the Ruach HaKodesh. These three are one in the Amein. These three are one. They bear record. Right? Now listen, now listen, now listen. And these three bear witness on the earth. The Ruach HaKodesh, right? The water, and the blood, all of which has to be a part of you. Because without it, the witness is incomplete. The oneness is non-existent. Without the Ruach HaKodesh, you are yet carnal. You're carnal. Carnal, 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 carnal. Without the Ruach HaKodesh. Hebrews, awakened, knowing who you are, keeping Torah, right? Without the witness of the water, without the witness of the blood, without the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh, you are yet carnal. You know better than the Pharisees and the Sadducees that he was trying to reach, that he was speaking to, the Jews, the Yahudiym. Do you want to be free? See, I have the Ruach HaKodesh, and I praise Yahuwah for the Ruach HaKodesh. Excuse me, I praise Yahuwah for the Ruach HaKodesh. So listen. I would have been dead. Without his Ruach HaKodesh, the times that he has protected me and kept me. What a word. What a word. What a word. Stroke on the whole right side of my body. What a word. Because I have the Ruach HaKodesh. I could lay there and pray in the Ruach HaKodesh because I couldn't speak, but I could pray in the Ruach HaKodesh. He could tell me, he said, listen, I got this. Just like that. I got this. No, thou my son. No. Because he didn't take all that. He said, I got this. Right? Inflicted in my body severe pain. Praying in the Ruach HaKodesh, Yahuwah said, this too will pass. Day one. This too will pass. Day 3. I don't hear me. Can't even sleep. All kinds of thoughts running and trying to bombard me, right? And I got this demonic, idolatrous holiday. Holiday. And all that brings. Listen, you better have a Ruach HaKodesh, because I can receive a word that changed the outcome. Even though I knew what the word Yahuwah gave me 3 days ago was. He said, this too will pass. Do you want to be free? You better take heed to what I'm saying. By the Ruach HaKodesh, you better take heed to what I'm saying. Because listen. He says, there are 3 that bear witness in the earth. The Ruach HaKodesh, the water, and the blood. And these 3 agree in one. You cannot have 2. You have to have all 3 witnesses. Because upon all 3, the receipt of all 3, there is the agreement. He says, if you receive the witness of men, the witness of Elohiym is greater. For this is the witness of Elohiym, which he hath testified of his son. Yahusha came up out of the water, Ruach descended upon him like a dove. Yahushua said, behold, this is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased. He declared it from the Amein. The witness. You cannot witness to it. Oh, man, listen. Yahusha said, and ye shall know the truth. The Basora. And the Basora, the Ruach HaKodesh of truth, shall make you free. Listen, it's the witness. They're one. You can't have two and not the third. It's like you can't have the Father and the Son in the Amein without the Ruach HaKodesh. Because they're all one. You can't have Yahusha and the Ruach without Yahuwah. They're one. You can't have the Ruach HaKodesh without having the Father and the Son. He said, and they answered him, we be Avraham seed. These wicked, pharisaical, sadduceical hypocrites, right? Right? They said, we were never in bondage to men, and they weren't because they weren't Yahudiym. They weren't Yahudiym. They were political puppets. They were people that were put in charge over the religious order, because we were people that were ruled by a king but governed by priests. Oh, so they put these Herodian puppets, these Edomite infiltrees. Priesthood became so diabolical. I've never been in bondage to no man. Start to say, well, that's just being arrogant. No, that's not just arrogance. That's them identifying who they were. He says, then how sayest thou, ye shall be made free? Bondage. When you're in bondage and you don't even know that you're in bondage. That's the problem with Christianity. They're in bondage and they don't even know they're in bondage. Yes, I said it. I'll say it again. They're in bondage and they don't even recognize they're in bondage. They have been inducted into a system of operation that's pagan in nature, and have been led to believe, because they have taken the engrafted, have taken the word, our Basora and our Torah, and Europeanize it to fit their ideologies, to incorporate their L's in their worship. They are operating under a Ruach HaKodesh, but it's not a Ruach HaKodesh, it's a Ruach. Oh, yeah. See, you're going to know the truth. See, because this is the Torah guardian. Yeah. And we are the Basora of truth. Yeah. We are the guardian of truth. Yeah. See, and I just cannot let you believe that, right? What you're in is according to the Besorah of Yahusha and the Torah of Yahuwah, righteous. The word is righteous, but those who handle it and wield it, its system of operation, is wicked. They ain't in bondage to no man. They free. Free to do and to operate in this idea of grace. Right? Don't get me wrong, grace is awesome. But grace is not a grounds to continue in sin. No. And if you have the Ruach HaKodesh, I'm talking about the Ruach HaKodesh, I ain't talking about this idea that you have of a Holy Spirit that just comes and lives in you. No, you got a Ruach living in you, but that Ruach ain't set apart. Yeah, I said it. You have a Ruach that'll come and live in you, but it ain't a set apart Ruach. It ain't the Ruach of Yahuwah. Oh. Yeah, okay. They said, Yahusha answered and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. You under bondage. You serve sin. You don't keep the Torah. You teach men that it's okay to break the Torah. You're under bondage. They're under the captivity of Romans. They have to answer to Caesar. But you're not under bondage. Your nation doesn't rule itself. You're a servant to sin. Listen, you want to be free? Stop serving sin. Stop being carnal. And receive the witness of the water, of the blood, and of the Ruach HaKodesh. Because these three on earth agree. And Yahuwah testifies that these three are right. So, you can't do it with just one or two. You know, I just have a problem with that Ruach HaKodesh part. I do have a problem with that Ruach HaKodesh part. That carnal. These Pharisees are carnal. They serve sin. He says, and the servant abideth not in the house. You're not a part of the Father's kingdom. You are not made perfect in him. You're not part of the house, the family. You don't make up the structure. The servant abideth not in the house forever. You servant, you ain't gonna be in there forever. But the son, yeah, Yahusha Mashiach, because you serve sin. Right now, this is your heyday. Right? You serve sin. You're living it up in the house. Oh yeah, serving sin. You're living it up in the house. Disguised. In your Hebrew disguise. You're living it up, right? Being Hebrew. Listen. The servant don't abide in the house forever. He don't have eternal life. But the Son, Yahusha HaMashiach, him whom I told you must believe on him, and on whom I told you to continue, right? Right? Him? Him? He abides forever. He's in the house. He's in the house. Yahusha HaMashiach, he's in the house. Actually, he's the chief cornerstone. And in order to get into the house, you have to come through him. Anybody else that comes in any other way is a thief and a robber. Yeah, they can't get in. Listen. He says, if the Son therefore shall make you free. If Yahusha makes you free. Right? Ye are free indeed. Now listen. You got to understand, when Yahusha's speaking like this, he's talking about having completed the process. Understanding that the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh, the one, is the process. See? And therefore, if the Son shall make you free, because see, Yahusha, he had to finish the work. Right? It was not enough that he was baptized, right? It was not enough that he died. All those were essential, but it was not enough that he died. He also had to go to the Amein and sprinkle his blood on the altar so that his Father could look and say, okay, I'm satisfied. Your work was complete. It was wonderful. At least this phase of it, because, there's a whole nother phase, judgment phase, setting order. But this phase, which is going to give us what we need in order to establish a kingdom of kings and priests who are going to receive the witness and who are going to walk with this authority and the rest is going to establish the kingdom. Yeah. And these people, they're going to be free indeed. Right? Because Yahusha had to do what he did. Now, free. Right? Free. Free. He says, he says, servant sent by forever shall be free indeed, right? The word free in the Greek is
Strong's G 1658 eleutheros.
Eleutheros. It means freeborn. Is a civil sense, one who is not a slave. One who ceases to be a slave. right? Freed from manipulation, right? Free, exempt, unrestrained, not under bondage, bound, or obligation. Free. Somebody says, I'm free not to keep the Torah. No, wrong. Because of Yahusha HaMashiach, you can keep the Torah. So the obligation is still there. Free, right? He says in verse 33, they answered him and said, we are Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. Abraham had seed, right? Ishmael was Abraham's seed. Ishmaelites, right? Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. It's Abraham's seed. Esau. It's Abraham's seed. The Herodians were Edomites. They were Abraham's seed. The Ishmaelites, the Arabs, Ishmaelites, they were Abraham's seed. Not according to the promise. They were not the seed that was chosen, because the seed was Yitzhak and Yaakov and the 12 tribes. That's the nation that's called by his name. That's the people that Yahuwah has chosen. It's just Yahuwah's decision, right? They say, we are Abraham's seed. The Herodians were Edomites. Esau's seed. Descendant of Esau. The Herodians appointed the leadership over the Levitical priesthood. The Levitical priesthood, no doubt, was predominantly Levitical. But with the tainted hands, and Esau now being over his brethren, listen, he says, we are Abraham's seed, and we have never been in bondage to any man. How say thou, you'll make us free? How are you going to say that you can make us free? We got everything. We're in the Holy Land. Our king is Herod. We're over the Levitical priesthood. We ain't never been in bondage. Unlike you, your ancestors. Dawid, seed, taken into captivity. Yeah. Taken into Spain, Portugal. Migrated to certain places. Yeah, you've been in bondage. We ain't never been in bondage. We free. You're never free when you serve sin. The only freedom is the freedom that comes through the quickening of the Ruach HaKodesh, having received the witness of baptism, the witness water, the witness of the blood of Yahusha, and the witness of the baptism of the Ruach HaKodesh. You ain't free. He says, Yahusha answered them, verily, verily, truly, truly, I say unto you, whosoever committed sin is a servant to sin. You serve sin. You break Torah. You violate Yahuwah's covenant, his Torah. And if you commit sin, you violate the Torah, because he's talking to sin is a violation of Torah. They violated Torah. So, and if you violate Torah, you sin, right? You violate Torah. You sin. If you violate Torah, you sin. If you violate Torah, you sin. See, if you are in your Mashiach, you've received the witness. You are not under sin. Because sin is a transgression of Torah. Hence, you're not under Torah. In the sense that sin puts you under Torah. Righteousness through Yahushua HaMashiach, right? Having received the Basora of truth, the baptism, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. You have Yahuwah and Yahusha in you. You become a Torah. Written and read of men. You're a walking conviction of the righteousness that comes in obedience to Torah. Listen, it is what we do. Yeah. You got to keep the commandments. Yahusha said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. How he gonna tell you to keep the commandments? You gonna sit up and say you don't made free from the law. That Crefloid. I got your dollar. Listen. He that same individual that said, we've never been in bondage to no man. We've never been in bondage to no man. Yeah, we puppets. Just like the Pharisees and Sadducees were the Herodians' puppets, who were Pontius Pilate's puppets, who was Rome's puppets. Come on. These systems of operation continue and will continue. Listen, he says, Yahushua answered him, truly, truly, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is a servant of sin, right? Whosoever committeth sin is a servant of sin, right? Now, he says, that word committeth is
Strong's G 4160 poieo.
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 Poieo. It means to make, to fashion, to make a thing. Listen, and you know what, right? Come on, listen. Sin is not just something that you, I made a mistake kind of thing. No, man. Hasatan had to seduce you. He had to lull you in. He had to convince you to take a step to do a thing. Listen, he had to. That's just the process. Just like he told Eve, listen, as Yahuwah said, you cannot eat of all the trees that are in the garden, right? That's the process, right? Now, what you do with what he says determines the outcome, right? She says, no, Yahuwah says we can eat of all the trees that are in the garden except that which is in the midst of the garden. That's the tree of good and evil. That we aren't even to touch, right? So she dealt with that situation with the Basora, right? Right? But she allowed this process of temptation, right, to sin. She allowed this process to continue. He says, well, listen. Yahuwah knows that in the day that she eat of this tree, that she won't die. He just does not want you to know good and evil. Now, that process wasn't like a 2-second process. Satan harassed her about that tree. Now, it was recorded the way it was recorded so that we can understand. But listen, that's a process. Sin is a process. You don't just make a sin. You don't just sin a sin. You don't just commit, I committed fornication. Oops, I committed adultery. No, man. Listen, you had entertained that, right? You're servant to sin. That's why in Yahusha Hamashiach, we don't sin. I don't sin. I don't plan, contrive, strive, practice. I don't do anything that's going to cause me to fall out of a relationship with Yahuwah and Yahusha, to grieve the Ruach HaKodesh. Are you kidding me? No. Yahusha and Yahuwah in me gonna let me know when that thing is coming. Listen, man. Oh, pump the brakes, man. Pump the brakes. Look the other way. Here she comes. Don't go that way. No, don't talk to them. Nah. Yeah, here he come. You know he gonna want to ride. Nah, I don't want you riding. Listen. Yahuwah's gonna do what he do. The Ruach is going to let you know. Listen. To commit is to produce, to construct, to form, to fashion. You're talking sin now, right? To be the author. To be the author. Which means that you had to come up with the idea, the construct. Listen. He that committeth sin is a servant to sin, of sin. And the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the Son abideth forever. If the Son therefore shall make you free, you are free indeed. I know that ye are Avraham. I know that ye are Avraham's seed, but ye seek to kill me, because my word haveth no place in you. He says, I know that ye are Avraham's seed. I know. He said, I know you're Abraham's seed. I know you Esau. I do. I know you Edom. I know Abraham's seed. I know Ishmael. I know Esau. I know the sons that they produced. I know how they mingled themselves with the Horites. I know you. I don't hear me. He says, but ye seek to kill me, because my words have no place in you. My Torah don't have no place in you. The actual Torah. Yahuwah's Torah, which is my Torah. But the Torah has no place in you. right? I speak that which I have seen of my Abba, and you do that which you have seen of your Father. Let's understand this. Are you free? Do you have the witness? Do you have what Yahuwah has given you? The gift of Yahusha? The water, his blood, the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Do you have the gift? Have you received the Ruach HaKodesh since you believed? He says, I speak that which I have seen of my Father, and you do what you've seen with your Father. Are you free? Are you really walking in the truth? Do you believe? Have you the witness? The Father, Abba, the Torah, the Word, Yahusha, and the Ruach HaKodesh, and the Shamayim? Is they bearing witness? Do you have the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh? Do you have the witness of the water and the blood? Do you have the witness? Are you free? They answered and said unto him, Avraham is our father. Yahusha said unto him, no, he's not. He may be Abraham's seed, but you ain't nothing like Avraham. You may be Avrahim's seed, but you ain't nothing like Avraham. They answered and said unto him, Avraham, he's our father. Yeah. Yeah, you have his patrilineal. You have his ancestry from Ishmael, the Egyptian. Right. That Yahuwah said is not the promise. He said unto them, if you were Abraham's children, right, ye would do the works of Avraham. See now, I got to get technical with you. If you were Yahuwah's children, you would have the baptism of water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. You would be free. If Yahuwah and Yahusha, the Ruach HaKodesh, the one, all three, agree. If you had that witness, then you would be free. Thank you, Yahuwah. Thank you, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. Thank you for understanding the witness. I thank you for understanding the necessity of having the Ruach HaKodesh HaKodesh, the essential nature of having the Ruach HaKodesh, the critical element. Listen, there's no oneness without it. You can't have two witnesses. In this case, you have to have three. You have to have the Ruach HaKodesh. Because YOCHANON 5 and YOCHANON 5 and 8. First YOCHANON 5 and 8. And these are three that bear witness, and the arets bear witness to what? Yahusha, the son of Elohiym, right? It bears witness that you have received this, right? The Ruach HaKodesh, the water, and the blood. You might want to save that, write that down somewhere, because that's why you got to have the Ruach HaKodesh. Right there. I know he said you had to have it, right? That's why I like YOCHANON. It's like YOCHANON. Listen. Yahusha says, you're not the children of Avraham. You would do the works of Avraham. See, if you were the children of Avraham, you would not stagger at the Torah, the Besorah of Yahuwah. Through unbelief, you would be strong in emunah, being fully persuaded that what Yahuwah had promised, he was well able to perform, right? But you're not Abraham's seed, and you're not free, and you don't have the truth. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen. They shall know the truth. They shall know the truth. And the truth shall make them free. You have to know the truth. You got to know where you are. You got to know that you're free. You got to know that you're free. You can I wish that you were either hot or cold. Right? I think it was the Church of Laodicea. Because if you knew you were one way, but now you lukewarm. You had that Christian mentality. He said, say it again. You have that Christian mentality where you feel it's okay to practice, to commit, to violate Torah, commandments, the Besorah, Shabbats, the holy set apart days. He understands. You're not the children of Abraham. You're not the children of Abraham, because if you were the children of Abraham, you would do what Avraham children do. Listen. He said, you would do the works. You would do the works.
Strong's G 2041.
Ergon. The works. The business, the employment, that which one is occupied. I'm occupied in the Besorah of truth. Right? Torah, guardian, declaring the Besorah of truth. Telling you that in order for you to make it, you have to have the Ruach HaKodesh. Because if you don't, you ain't going to make it. That which one undertakes to do, I have undertaken this Besorah of truth. And it must get out at all costs. It must go out at all costs. It's got to be preached. 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 Yeah, somebody's got to say it. You got to have the Ruach HaKodesh. Somebody has to say it. You're going to die and go to hell in your sins, yet carnal, without the Ruach HaKodesh. Somebody's got to say it. Being Hebrew ain't going to get you free. You got to have the Ruach HaKodesh. You got to have it, you got to have it, you got to have it. There's no freedom. This truth. He says, but now ye seek to kill me. A man that hath told you the truth. See, because I have the Ruach HaKodesh without measure. It's impossible for me to lie to you. And you know what I tell you is the truth. It doesn't matter if it makes you mad or angry. You know it's the truth. You know it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. Right? Which I have heard of Elohiym. This did not Avraham. Abraham didn't do you. He didn't tell you the truth. Are you saying laying claim to as being Avraham's seed? Oh yeah, and I acknowledge that I identify you as Avraham's seed. I know you are Avraham's seed, but you're not Avraham's seed according to the promise. Oh no, you're not Avraham's seed according to the promise. No, he says, you seek to kill me. Right? Just like Esau sought to kill Yaakov. You seek to kill me. Because you don't want to give up your temporary inheritance. Because you're going to be judged for what you've done to your brother. Yeah, I don't hear me. You're going to be judged for what you've done to your brother. Esau, Edom, now you seek to kill me if I've told you the truth. I have heard, which I heard from Elohiym. Abraham didn't do this. Abraham staggered not at what Yahuwah said through unbelief. Abraham listened to me when I came and appeared before him. You ain't nothing like Avraham. You ain't nothing like Avraham. Nah, you ain't like Avraham. He says, Ye do the deeds of your father. And they do. Then said they to him, we be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even Elohiym. Elohiym is Father, even Elohiym, right? We be not born of fornication. You saying Yahuwah is your father. And Mary's your mother. That means Joseph is not the father. You born of fornication. Wickedness. But that's the influence of Hasatan, right? That's what they've built, constructed, and sent. It's their construct, right? Construct. There's a construct even amongst the nation that's leading to sin. You better get the Ruach HaKodesh. You better receive the Ruach HaKodesh. You better get it. You better get the Ruach HaKodesh. He says, you do the deeds of your father. And they say of him. And then in the fornication, we got to that part. Okay. He says, and Yahusha said unto them, if Elohiym were your father, ye would love me, because you would be one with Elohiym. And Yahusha is one with Elohiym, right? For I proceeded forth and come from Elohiym. Neither come out of myself, but he that sent me. Listen, you got to get this. Why do ye not understand my speech? Because ye cannot hear my words. Listen, Yahusha goes on to say, right, ye are of your father, Hasatan. You ain't free because you're still of Hasatan. You still getting demons cast that out because you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh and you still dabble in carnality. You still got roots. You still got Ruachs. You lust of your father ye do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the Torah. He didn't abide in Yahuwah's word. He wanted to be number one. You just like him. Because there is no truth in him. There's no truth in him either. Everything Hasatan says is a lie. He's the father of lies. Yeah. His strength is his manipulation. Yeah, he tries to bend the truth. Right? Because there is no truth in him. He doesn't have the capacity to truth. When he speaks a lie, he speaketh of his own. And he is a liar and the father of lies. And because I tell you the truth, you believe me not. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen. I can go on and on. Do you want to be free? Do you want to be free? Who the sun sets free is free indeed. Do you want to be free? If the Son therefore makes you free, you shall be free indeed. Do you want to be free? I thank Yahuwah that I'm free. I've been free. Yeah, I've been free, right? But it's in this freedom that I can hear a word. I can hear a Torah. I can hear a Besorah that strengthens strengthens me, that quickens me, that gives vitality to me. The Ruach HaKodesh of truth can quicken something in me, a word. It causes me to rise up and take authority in a way in which is only Ruach. And Yahuwah ain't going to do it. Yahusha ain't going to do it in me. He going to make me get up and do it. Take it. Yeah, even with the Ruach HaKodesh, I still got to do it. Yahuwah, I pray right now that the words that you've given me, I've given them, that they keep them. Yahuwah, on this Shabbat, I pray that those who have not received the Ruach HaKodesh, who need the Ruach HaKodesh to understand how important it is, I pray, Yahuwah, that they would receive it. I mix my faith with their faith in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. Yahuwah, I pray for a fresh infilling. I pray for a fresh filling of the Ruach HaKodesh in the lives of the brethren all over. A fresh Ruach anointing. Yahuwah, I thank you for all that you are and all that you do. I pray, Yahuwah, healing. Pray healing. I pray healing over those under the sound of my voice. I pray that you be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Are there any sick among you? Let them call for the elders of the church and let them anoint them and pray for them. Lay hands on them. The prayer of faith shall save the sick, and Yahuwah shall raise them up. And if they've committed any sin, shall be forgiven them. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. Yahuwah, I give you praise. Let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Man of Yah, woman of Yah. That's all I have on this Shabbat, right? I pray that this word, this Besor of truth, will come alive in you, would quicken you. It would bring the truth of Yahuwah to the forefront in your face. And listen, we ain't idol worshipers. We worship the true and living Elohiym and his son Yahusha HaMashiach. And we walk with the both of them in us because we're led by the Ruach HaKodesh. We're sons and daughters of Elohiym. So with that in mind, man of Yah, woman of Yah, with that I say, look, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, and Shabbat Shalom. Be blessed.
Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.